As Zhang approached Jiang, he sneered at his outfit, saying he despised people who wore fake designer brands and pretended to be wealthy when they weren't. Jiang, unfazed, replied that he didn't even know if it was a designer brand, as he had just bought it at some random stall. Jiang angrily grabbed Yang by the head, demanding to know if he had wasted his time by bringing a worthless client. After literally kicking him, Yang insisted that Jiang really was a significant client, but Jiang wasn't having it, claiming that after years in the business, he could tell who was rich just by looking at them. Jiang smirked, remarking that Jiang's aura clearly wasn't working if he couldn't even intimidate an uneducated man who looked down on others. Enraged, Jiang grabbed him by the collar, daring him to repeat what he had just said. Jiang, undeterred, repeated that Jiang looks down on people. Jiang, now even angrier, demanded to know how he dared call him uneducated. Jiang, confused, noticed Jiang was more upset about being called uneducated than about the accusation of belittling others. Yang, trying to de-escalate the situation, nervously explained to Jiang not to call Jiang uneducated, since Jiang really was illiterate and hated that word more than anything. Jiang kicked Yang away, telling him to go screw himself, and that if he couldn't speak properly, he should just shut up. He then turned back to Jiang, still gripping his collar, and said that if Jiang was really a big client, he should buy a truckload of goods today, or they wouldn't leave standing. Jiang calmly showed his phone, telling Jiang to let go of his collar and show him his account. Jiang was shocked to see that Jiang had already deposited 1 million yuan, asking if he was really serious. Jiang replied that he was dead serious and added that what he had just sent was only the deposit to maintain trust. He then told Jiang he wanted to buy 5 million yuan worth of goods from him. Urging Jiang to start loading the truck, Jiang said he'd pay the remaining 4 million once the goods were delivered. Jiang calmed down and asked him what kind of goods he was looking for, and Jiang told him that he wanted rice, oil, salt and drinks, basically anything edible or drinkable. Jiang told him to follow, but with a sly grin, thinking he was lucky to have a bunch of nearly expired products that he could offload onto Jiang instead. As they arrived at the warehouse, Jiang offered Jiang a deal, saying if he took an entire batch of the products in front of him, he'd gladly give a 10% discount off the original wholesale price. Jiang replied that he would check the quality of the goods before deciding, but after inspecting them, he pointed out that except for the outer layer, everything inside was almost expired. Jiang remarked that Jiang was pretty cunning for using such a tactic. Jiang was surprised to find that Jiang knew how Jiang does his business. As a last resort, he offered a 50% discount if Jiang bought all the nearly expired goods. Jiang, however, said he wasn't interested in expired products and that he wanted to spend his 5 million on the best quality items. But before Jiang lost hope for the nearly expired goods, Jiang mentioned he had other plans for them. When Jiang asked what the plan was, Jiang didn't answer directly. Instead, he said he'd take all the goods close to expiration for 50% of their price, but Jiang would need to wait a month before receiving payment. Jiang, skeptical, asked what would happen if the goods expired and Jiang didn't pay. Jiang then explained that failure to pay would result in his house being put up as collateral to Jiang. Jiang was still confused about why he wanted those nearly expired goods, so he asked what his channel was. Jiang responded that there was no channel and that he himself was the channel. Jiang then lightly patted Jiang's shoulder and shared a secret. In a few days, even the expired goods would be worth a fortune. Jiang, with obvious fear and confusion, asked what Jiang meant by that. Jiang changed the topic, telling Jiang to stop asking questions and just deliver the goods to the address he would send later. Suddenly, Jiang's phone rang. Upon answering, a voice asked if he was Jiang Xiaoyong. When Jiang inquired who was calling, the voice revealed that they were asking if Jiang was really selling his second-hand house. It was Old Man Li. Jiang told Yang and Zhang that he had other business to attend to, and asked them to take care of the goods while he was out. Yang Tao then told Jiang that he was telling the truth and had not scammed him. Jiang pondered how Jiang could be so wealthy since his family was just ordinary. As Jiang returned to the apartment building, Old Man Li handed him a deposit of 400,000 yuan and agreed to the terms of vacating the house within 3 months. He insisted on signing the agreement immediately. Jiang wondered how desperate the old man must be to eagerly pay a deposit and sign the contract without even inspecting the house. When Jiang asked why he was in such a hurry, Old Man Li explained that his granddaughter needed to transfer schools, and they urgently needed the house for residency. The old man had been looking around the area, and Jiang's house was the only one for sale. He begged Jiang not to back out of their agreement. Jiang, teasing, asked the old man if he wasn't afraid that he might raise the price, knowing the other buyer was desperate. Trembling in fear, the old man pleaded for the price to remain the same, as it was already equal to his family's life savings. Jiang, having only been messing with him, reassured the old man that he wouldn't increase the price or back out of the deal. After Jiang signed the contract, the old man felt a sense of relief and told Jiang he wouldn't disturb him any longer, bidding him farewell. Jiang, thinking about the old man's kind-heartedness, reflected that neither he nor his granddaughter would survive even a month in the upcoming apocalypse. He signaled the old man to wait and asked for his address. The scene then shifts to Jiang's land, where the factory was under construction. Foreman Li asked about the second batch of funds, and Jiang told him he would transfer it later. For clarification, Foreman Li and Old Man Li are two different people. Jiang then asked about the progress of the construction. The foreman reported that it was about 70 to 80% complete, and told Jiang that the walls and doors are safe and reliable. When Jiang inquired about the warehouse, the foreman explained that it was an unfinished factory building, but had been cleaned up and was ready for use. Jiang commended the foreman for his hard work, and called Jiang to bring over the goods he ordered. As the workers carefully loaded the shelves with supplies, Jiang instructed them to separate the fruits, vegetables, meat, and drinks. The workers followed his instructions. After a full day's work, Jiang waited until everyone had left. Once the place was empty, the system interface appeared, informing him that the mission to gather 10 years' worth of supplies had been completed. He was awarded 20 points. When Jiang opened the system store, he noticed a new option called the Awakening Ability Supply Box, priced at 10 points. Excited by the prospect of gaining abilities before the apocalypse, Jiang bought one. He received an ability called Mind's Eye, which allowed him to sense if someone was hostile toward him. This skill was incredibly useful in the early days of the apocalypse, as it helped him determine who could be trusted at a glance. A new task appeared in the system, Armed to the Teeth, which required Jiang to find weapons for himself. The rewards for completing it were 10 points and a random item. The system didn't need to tell Jiang twice. Getting weapons was already a priority in his mind. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we end our video for now. If we have created the next one, click the video on the right. And if you want to watch the previous video, click the video on the left. And as always, I'll see you next time. Subscribe.